The sun was beginning its descent, casting a warm golden hue over the quiet village. The air was still, save for the occasional rustle of leaves and the distant call of a bird returning home. An old man, his back slightly hunched with the weight of years, sat on the porch of a small, time-worn cottage. His eyes, once bright and full of life, were now clouded with the weariness of time, yet they still held a spark when he looked at the woman beside him. She was knitting, her hands steady despite the wrinkles that mapped her skin like the rings of a tree. Her silver hair was tied back in a loose bun, a few stray strands escaping to dance in the evening breeze. Every so often, she would pause her knitting to look up at the man, a gentle smile tugging at the corners of her lips. "Remember the first time we sat here together, John?" she asked, her voice soft but clear, carrying with it the melody of 1,000 shared memories. John chuckled, a deep, rich sound that seemed to vibrate from somewhere deep within his chest. "How could I forget, Mary? You were knitting even then, though back then, it was a scarf to keep me warm on those long walks home." Mary's eyes twinkled with amusement. "And you wore that scarf every day, even when the sun was blazing. You looked so silly, but I never told you." John reached out and took her hand, his grip firm yet tender. "I wore it because it reminded me of you." Every stitch was a promise, every thread a memory. They fell into a comfortable silence, the kind that only comes with decades of shared life. The world around them seemed to pause, as if in reverence to the love that had weathered countless storms, yet stood as strong as ever. The years had not been easy. They had faced hardships that would have broken many others, illnesses, the loss of loved ones, the relentless march of time that had taken so much but had given them the gift of each other in return. Their children had grown and moved away, building lives of their own, but John and Mary remained, rooted in the village that had been their home for as long as they could remember. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the porch, John sighed. "Do you ever wonder what life would have been like if we had done things differently? If we had moved to the city like we planned all those years ago?" Mary shook her head, her eyes meeting his. "No, John, I don't wonder. This is where we were meant to be. Every choice, every step led us here, to this moment. And I wouldn't trade it for anything." Tears welled up in John's eyes, and he blinked them away, embarrassed by his sudden emotion. "You've always been the stronger one, Mary. I don't know what I'd do without you." She squeezed his hand, her voice firm and full of love. "You'll never have to find out, my dear. We've made it this far together, and we'll keep going, one day at a time." The stars began to appear in the darkening sky, tiny pinpricks of light in the vast expanse of night. John and Mary sat in silence, their hands intertwined, watching as the world around them slowly fell asleep. They didn't need words to express what they felt. A lifetime of love, loss, and shared joy was woven into the very fabric of their being. As the night enveloped them, they remained side by side, two souls bound by an unbreakable bond, content in the knowledge that no matter what the future held, they would face it together. One half